What's going on, everybody? It's etaprime back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Logitech G Cloud. Now, some of you might be familiar with this, but if not, basically what we have here is an Android-powered handheld gaming device, and with a name like G Cloud, they're obviously really kind of pushing that cloud gaming and game streaming with something like this. But it does have Google Play pre-installed, so we can download native Android games, applications, and emulators. So that's exactly what we're going to be testing out here, but keep in mind I will have a couple more videos coming up. One that I'm really interested in making is just all emulation to see exactly what can be run on this thing and what can't. In this video, we will test a few emulators, even some higher end stuff, just to see what it would do. But I've got a lot to cover with this one, given we're going through basically everything here from native Android gaming up to cloud gaming. So just keep an eye out on the channel if you're really interested in something like this, specifically for emulation. Looks like that box rubbed the screen a bit, but not to worry, it's got a screen protector on it. I'll just have to peel that off. But yeah, it actually looks pretty good. I thought it would be a lot bulkier, and I gotta tell you, just checking out the pictures and everything so far, I didn't know it was going to be this thin and light. I mean, this thing is super light, and it does have a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. They're claiming up to 12 hours of gameplay out of this thing. I'll do some battery testing for this one, but yeah, I actually do like the way this thing's designed. And, you know, I've been checking out pictures and videos since the announcement on this thing. I really did think it was going to be a lot chunkier than it is. Looks like we've got analog triggers here. That's something we'll definitely be testing out. But yeah, I mean, the ergonomics on this thing are actually pretty good. It feels very comfortable in the hand, and compared to some of the other handhelds on the market right now, this thing is really light. So inside of the box, along with the handheld itself, we do get an 18-watt fast charger and a USB Type-C cable. That's about it. When it comes to the controller layout, it's basically set up like an Xbox controller, but we do have a few extra buttons from Logitech that really do help us out in the menus and in-game. The D-pad does look a little funky. I mean, it doesn't feel bad. It's a little flat in my opinion, but we'll test it out with some fighting games just to see if we can pull off some special moves. Up top here, we've got our shoulder buttons and our trigger buttons, and I really do like what they've done with this. We've got a lot of grip here. It actually feels really good. Moving to the midsection up top here, we've got our volume rocker and our power button. Plus, this does support a micro SD card up to 1 terabyte. We've got our slot right here. As you can see, down here on the bottom, we've got a 3.5mm audio jack, USB Type-C, which is 3.1, and dual stereo speakers. They're kind of downward facing, but they actually sound pretty good. I did want to give you a quick size comparison between some of the other more popular handhelds on the market. So at the bottom, we've got that Aya Neo Air Pro 5.5-inch OLED display, runs an x86 CPU and Windows. As you can see, it's smaller than any of these other ones. And obviously up top, we've got the Steam Deck, which is a pretty beefy handheld, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the best on the market right now, if not the best for the price. But as you can see, the G Cloud comes right in the middle, and it's kind of hard to compare them spec for spec, given that the G Cloud is using Android and an ARM CPU. When it comes to these two other devices, they're using an x86 CPU, something that you'd find in your laptop or your desktop. Personally, I think Logitech did a really great job with the ergonomics here. As you can see, we've got this palm curve in the back with some grips right there, and this thing does feel really nice in the hand, very comfortable to hold for long periods of time. And given that it's so light, you could definitely game on this thing for hours. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting into some testing, but I do want to go over the specs real quick. And when it comes to the CPU, this is using the Snapdragon 720G. When they initially announced that it was going to be using this chip, I was a bit disappointed, but you know, for what this thing is intended for, it does have plenty of power. It's an 8-core ARM CPU. We've got 2 Cortex A76 cores at 2.3 GHz and 6 A55 cores at 1.8. For the GPU, it's got the Adreno 618 up to 800 MHz. We've got 4 GB of LPDDR4X RAM here, 64 GB of internal storage, plus micro SD card support up to 1 terabyte. The display on this thing actually looks really good. Now, it's not going to blow anybody's mind because, you know, it's not a Super AMOLED or an OLED, but they chose a really nice IPS panel here. It's got a 16:9 aspect ratio with a resolution of 1920 by 1080 with up to 450 nits of brightness. Now, one of the most surprising things from their announcement when they told us all the specs on this unit was it's got Wi-Fi 5. Now, it's totally fine. I mean, it does work really well, but given that this is a cloud gaming device, I figured they'd have Wi-Fi 6 in this unit. But it's got that Wi-Fi 5 built in, Bluetooth 5.1, a 6,000 milliamp hour battery with Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0, and they're claiming up to 12 hours of battery life out of this thing while gaming, and I could definitely see that happening with the brightness on the screen down. And when it comes to the operating system, this is running Android 11. They've also got their custom game mode launcher. I'm not exactly sure what they're calling it, but you could opt to run this in tablet mode, so you'd basically have like a stock Android look, or you could go with game mode, and that's exactly what I'm going to be set up with. Upon first boot, it's going to give you a nice little walkthrough here. It tells you exactly what all of these buttons do, and we do have some quick menus, so if we hold that Logitech G button while we're in game, we can actually access a quick menu to change the brightness, volume, go to airplane mode, or close the currently running application, be it a game or an app, down completely, and it'll bring us right into the menu. But yeah, I mean, setup on this thing was definitely a breeze. I've just signed in with my Google account. And like I mentioned, we do have access to Google Play, but we've got some pre-installed applications like Xbox Cloud Gaming, we've got GeForce Now, Steam Link, Chrome, YouTube, and obviously Google Play here. But the game mode interface here is really smooth, and on the initial boot, it actually asked me if I wanted to go to tablet mode or game mode. I opted for game mode, but just note that, yeah, I mean, you could set this up like an Android phone or a tablet if you wanted to. And yeah, one thing I haven't mentioned is it does have a touch screen, just in case anybody was wondering. It's a 7-inch touch screen here, but you know, with the way they've got this set up, we can basically navigate the whole operating system with the built-in controls. From the game mode settings menu, we've got quite a bit that we can mess around with. We can actually change the theme from light to dark. It's really up to you. There's also a few wallpapers built in. I kind of wish there was more. Hopefully we can get more in an update down the road. But yeah, I mean, these are the basic game mode settings. We've got our brightness, we've got a little bit of battery control, we can go to power save mode. But if you really want to get deep into Android, you can actually head all the way down to the bottom here and access our stock Android settings. Now in tablet mode, we can do this. I mean, it's going to look just like a tablet would. You can also customize everything you want. But in this game launcher mode, we're kind of limited right now. Hopefully that changes down the road, but it does give it more of a, handheld feel with a launcher like this. So yeah, I think the interface here is put together very well for basically being the first release. But this thing's definitely made for gaming, and I want to see how it performs. So first up, we're going to go with some native Android gaming, then we'll move over to some cloud gaming, and finally we'll wrap it up with some emulation. We're going to be starting off light here with Minecraft, then we'll move our way up. But going into this, I figured we'd have really good performance with it. I didn't have to turn off fancy graphics or anything like that. We're at 18 chunks, getting great performance out of Minecraft, and obviously it should run it really well with that Snapdragon 720. And when it comes to the built-in controls, I didn't have to do any kind of setup. Minecraft is just one of those Android games that works with all kinds of third-party controllers, so we're not going to have any issues there. And getting back to the menu is super easy. It'll actually suspend the game until we start another one, then it'll ask us if we want to close that game that we were previously playing. Next up, we've got Asphalt 9. This is another one I always like to test. And with all those particles and everything on screen, some of these lower end devices can lag, but this is running really steady here. And again, the controller just worked right out of the box. Here we have Diablo, and I'm at 60 FPS with a low-medium mix. Unfortunately, at 60 high settings with this game, I do get some lag, but you could run this maxed out at 30 if you don't mind playing it at 30. I just wanted to see what we could do at 60. And with that low-medium mix I have from the settings, it's performing really well. Again, the controller worked with this game, and there's one big reason that I keep mentioning that with each game that I test, and that's because there are some games on the market that only support first-party controllers, or you have to use a mapping app. Something like Call of Duty Mobile, unfortunately, just didn't work with these built-in controls, and that's kind of going to be a big letdown to a lot of people. Now, I've run into this in the past while reviewing different controllers for Android, and basically this game here, along with Apex Legends, only works with first-party controllers from PlayStation or Xbox. And when it comes down to it, it's really Activision's fault. They're only enabling support for that Xbox One controller, the DS4, and I believe the DS5 is now compatible, but there's a ton of third-party controllers on the market that I personally love to use that just won't work with these games without a third-party mapping app. And of course, there was another game I really wanted to test here, which was Genshin Impact. But we don't have official controller support whatsoever with Genshin Impact on Android yet, and it's been a couple years now. iOS got it a long time ago, but they're holding out on Android. But Call of Duty Mobile and Apex Legends does run pretty well on this device. Unfortunately, we just don't have controller support. Next thing we're going to be moving over to is some cloud gaming and game streaming, but first I wanted to do a real-world internet speed test just to see what I'm getting on my Wi-Fi router here. And it's not bad at all, given that we only have Wi-Fi 5 here. Now, it would have been really nice with Wi-Fi 6 or 6E built into this unit, but with the Wi-Fi network I'm on right now, I'm getting plenty for cloud gaming, basically using any app, and in-home game streaming is going to work out really well. First one we're going to test here is Xbox Game Pass, or Cloud Gaming, xCloud, whatever you want to call it nowadays. We'll go ahead and jump right into a little bit of Forza 5. So far, so good. And you know, this kind of performance here really comes down to the network you're on, because you need stability, you need speed there, and overall, with what I've got set up right now, this little handheld is working very well for cloud gaming, especially using Xbox Game Pass. Next one we're testing here is Gforce now. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultra settings, 1080p. Looking great on this display. I can definitely tell the difference when I drop it down to 720p versus 1080 using Gforce now. But I've always had really good luck with this application on a lot of different devices, and this one's no different. I would go through and test Stadia, but there's really no point. It's shutting down soon anyway. So I figured I'd go ahead and test out one of my favorite little streaming applications known as Steam Link. You could also use Moonlight on this, but right now I've got an AMD card in my main gaming PC. I was doing some testing. If you're interested, later on I can do some Moonlight testing on this device. Just let me know in the comments below. But let's move over to Steam Link now. And this isn't quite cloud gaming because I'm actually going to be streaming from hardware that I own. It's in the house right now. I usually have, you know, the main hardware that we're going to be running from connected on Ethernet, and then whatever device I want to stream to, be it a handheld or an Android device or even an iPhone, is always on Wi-Fi. But this basically connects to your own hardware. We're in big picture mode right now with Steam, and it's just streaming from my own gaming PC. And since I'm streaming from my own hardware that's actually on the same exact network, we've got very minimal input latency when you compare it to cloud gaming. I mean, Gforce Now has done a great job in minimizing that latency, but it's still there and it bugs a lot of people. But with this, we get a lot less input latency, and it really feels like I've got this PC on a handheld. Alright, so with the Android gaming and the cloud gaming out of the way, I wanted to check out some emulation. And it's true that you could always just launch your favorite emulators that you downloaded from Google Play from the built-in launcher, but personally I wanted to test out Launchbox for Android. If you're not familiar with this, basically what we can do here is import all of our games. It'll download all of our artwork. You can also download videos. We've got a nice little front end here to launch all of our favorite retro games from, and we can also launch Android apps. Most of the time, I don't use it like that. I just kind of keep this for my retro games. But yeah, let's see how emulation performs on this thing. Okay, so here's some N64, and yeah, we're going to get great performance with N64. I'm using the standalone version of Mupen 64 plus FZ from the Google Play Store, but you could go with the Mupen core inside a RetroArch and get really great performance out of the Snapdragon 720G. One of the harder games to run here, GoldenEye 007, definitely playable. Moving over to some Dreamcast here using the Redream emulator, and this is also going to give me a chance to test that D-pad. This is, you know, one of the main reasons I would use the D-pad, or a good D-pad would be for fighting games here. And I can definitely pull off these moves. It's a little lower than I wish it was. I kind of wish it was raised up a bit more, but it is usable. It's not the best D-pad I've ever messed around with on a handheld device, but yeah, I mean, you could definitely get by with this. Moving over to some PSP using the standalone version of PPSSPP. Vulkan backend, 2x resolution, running Chains of Olympus really well. Got a few dips here and there, not bad at all, and this is something that happens on my really high-end gaming PC. It just really comes down to the emulator itself. But the harder to emulate games are going to be playable on this when it comes to PSP. And easier to emulate stuff, you'll be able to upscale to around 4x resolution. Something like Tekken 6, which I consider as a mid-range game to run, does run on this at full speed, 4x resolution with that Vulkan backend. Now, like I mentioned, I will be doing a full emulation video because there's a lot I want to test with this, but the last one for this video was PS2 using Aether SX2. Going into this, I'm just at the safe preset, OpenGL backend, 1x resolution with Gran Turismo 4, and I was actually really impressed seeing this kind of performance just straight out of the box with no tweaks at all on this game. Now, I'm 100% positive that this isn't going to run every PS2 game at full speed. You will need to turn on hacks for harder to emulate stuff. And when I release my full emulation showcase video with this device, we're going to test a bunch of PS2, some GameCube, and some Wii with this thing, and just see what we could do up to. And right now, this isn't looking bad at all. First impressions of the Logitech G Cloud. I like the look of it now that I've held it. When I was looking at pictures of it, I thought it was going to be a lot bulkier, super comfortable to hold, very lightweight, and we're getting outstanding battery life with this unit. Through my testing so far, 8 hours, 17 minutes with the screen brightness set to 100%. Not bad. We could get 12 hours out of it with that screen brightness down and the volume down, but I really do like jacking the brightness up on this thing. I think the overall feel of it is great, and it does perform much better than I thought it would, given that we have that older Snapdragon 720G. It's definitely not a powerhouse, but they never really intended it to be. This is more for game streaming and cloud gaming, and we can sprinkle in a little bit of native Android gaming and emulation with it. One thing I would like to see changed is just the shape of the D-pad. I'm not a huge fan of these rounded corners here. I mean, it works, you could get used to it, but having a really good D-pad on a handheld is super important. And another thing that's been bugging me is the placement of the select button. So it's right above that left analog stick, and it's a bit awkward to get to when you need to get to it really quickly. You'll always hit that analog stick. But yeah, for what we have here, being an Android handheld with a Snapdragon 720G, I think it's a great little device, but it does have one major issue, and that's the Steam Deck. The base model Steam Deck, which has 64 gigabytes of internal storage, but you can always add an SSD, I mean you can go up to 4 terabytes if you need to, is $399. The pre-order price of the Logitech G Cloud is $299, but retail is $349. So for $50 more, you can get a base model Steam Deck, and that's the main issue with the Logitech G Cloud. I did a video before this was released. We had some videos, we had some pictures of it. We didn't have a price or specs yet, but in that video I stated if they could hit the market at that $199 price tag, then this thing would definitely sell. It would sell really well, especially if they could put it on a shelf in Best Buy. And to tell you the truth, at $349, if this was released 2 years ago, then yeah, this would be the one to jump all over. But now we've got all this competition coming out, and it's really hard to beat the pricing of the Steam Deck. And I know it's a completely different beast, but it's really not, because they're both gaming handhelds. One runs Android, one runs Linux, or you could install Windows on it. And we can game or do cloud gaming on both of these devices. That's going to wrap it up for my first look video. I will have a full emulation showcase video coming up, but in the meantime, if there's anything else you want to see running on the Logitech G Cloud, be it more native Android gamings, more streaming apps, let me know in the comments below. And I'd also like to know your thoughts on this device. Is it something you're interested in now? Are you going to skip it? Would you have been interested in it if it came in at a lower price around $199? Let me know your thoughts down below. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. I'll leave some links in the description just in case you want to learn more, maybe even pick one up. But like always, thanks for watching.